Chapter 1: The Treaty and the Mistake. The tension in the grand chandelier-lit ballroom of the Vendetta Hotel was suffocating. The most powerful mafia bosses in the world had gathered for the historic East-West Treaty. Guns under the table, poison in the champagne, but the real threat? Riku Black. The double doors slammed open with a bang. A 5'9" menace of an Omega strutted in. Black ripped jeans, scuffed boots, leather jacket, and red-streaked hair tied messily. A scar over his eyebrow, eyes sharp enough to gut a man. He was not supposed to be there. Who the hell told me this was a rave? Riku screamed, kicking the door in again just for good measure. Gasps echoed. One man fainted. Riku scowled, yanked off his sunglasses, and glared around. Which idiot kidnapped me and dressed me like I'm going to prom with Satan? At the head table, Jackson Mikhailov, the cold-blooded alpha don of the Eastern Syndicate, nearly dropped his wineglass. Riku Black. The Riku. The same Riku who once kicked him down a staircase in high school for trying to confess with a rose bouquet. The same delinquent Omega who punched the headmaster and painted the teacher's car pink. Flashback. High school hellfire. 6 years ago. A pristine elite school filled with young mafia heirs and dangerous children. Jackson had transferred in from Russia. He was rich, brilliant, quiet, and terrifying. No one dared talk to him. Except Riku. He had kicked open the classroom door, spat on the Mafia rulebook, and lit his math textbook on fire. Jackson had fallen in love in 0.3 seconds. He tried to confess by slipping a letter into Riku's locker. It came back with a boot print and a sticky note. Try that again and I'll staple your face to your desk. Jackson fell even harder. He'd spent years watching Riku from afar, always hiding it, always obsessing. Back to now, the Mafia meeting of the century. Riku stomped down the red carpet like it owed him money. Behind him, his gang, the Black Howlers, looked awkward and terrified. That's because they didn't mean to bring him. Back at their headquarters. Gang member. 1. We need someone terrifying but untraceable. Gang member. 2. Why not Riku? Gang leader. He got expelled from the Mafia Academy for blowing up the cafeteria with ramen. Gang member. 3. Exactly. They drugged him with relaxing tea, shoved him in a limo, and dropped him off in a suit 2 sizes too big. Meeting begins, or not. Riku made it 5 steps into the ballroom before a smug alpha smirked at him from the South Syndicate's table. An Omega like you must be someone's pet. Crack. The man was on the floor, nose broken. The room went silent. Riku shook his fist. Anyone else want to say something sexist, or should I start with your family tree? And that's when Jackson stood up. Calm, dangerous, gorgeous in a black suit that cost more than most cars. Their eyes met. Riku, he said. Riku blinked. Do I know you, IKEA suit man? Jackson smiled. I'm Jackson Mikhailov. We went to school together. You kicked me down the stairs once. Riku. Narrow that down, sweetheart. I've kicked a lot of alphas. The mistake of the century. Somehow, after threats, shouting, and a few bottles of vodka, Jackson had a private stash, they ended up on the balcony. Arguing. Loudly. Riku, you're a stalker in a tuxedo. Stop smiling like you have fantasies of marrying me. Jackson, internally. I do. Jackson. You've changed. Riku. I still hate alphas. Jackson. That's okay. I'll change your mind. Riku. Bold words for someone with a glass jaw. They drank, argued more, got caught in a rainstorm, ended up in a hotel suite. Jackson was gentle, worshipping, obsessive. Riku was drunk, snarky, insatiable. The morning after, Riku woke up, saw the heart-shaped breakfast tray Jackson had left, and jumped out the window. Aftermath. Jackson searched the city for Riku. No trace. His gang denied everything. Meanwhile, Riku was on his bike, screaming into the wind. Never trust a man who wears cufflinks to bed. He didn't even take the money. He just left a note. Thanks for the worst night of my life. 0 tenths. Would not bang again. Jackson read it 172 times. It's in a frame on his bedroom wall. Chapter 2. Positive and Pissed Off Menace. Omega. Riku Black was having a normal morning. He woke up, punched his alarm clock, threatened a pigeon on his windowsill, and drank orange juice straight from the carton. Then he puked in the sink. The hell? He grumbled, thinking maybe it was the leftover chili vodka he drank last night. But by noon, he'd already kicked a mailman, cried at a cat video, and yelled at a traffic cone for looking smug. His gang, noticing the mood swings, dragged him to a pregnancy clinic just to be safe. And then the universe ended. Riku stared at the result. Positive. Pregnant. With an alpha's baby. The only alpha he'd ever touched. Jackson freaking Mikhailov. Cue him walking straight into the wall, with his bike. The receptionist screamed. Riku screamed louder. I'm pregnant! Which bastard? Oh wait, it's that suit freak! Meanwhile, in a bulletproof Bentley, Jackson Mikhailov hadn't slept in 21 days. His under-eyes were designer-level dark. He had his tech team tracking every street cam, every scent trail, every gang hideout in the city. He missed Riku. He missed the insults, the death threats, the time Riku almost choked him with a seatbelt. Ah, romance. Then he got the alert. Target located, pregnancy clinic, rage level, catastrophic. He arrived within 7 minutes, full Mafia procession, bulletproof SUV, 10 armored alphas. The clinic nearly evacuated. He burst into the room. And there Riku stood, holding a potted plant like a weapon, face red, hair in a mess, eyes murderous. You. Riku launched the plant. Jackson caught it, smiled. You look radiant, Jackson said dreamily. Riku, I will kill you with a fork. Jackson, still smiling. You'll need to eat first, baby needs nutrients. Punch, right in the jaw. Operation, pamper the menace. Jackson didn't fight back. Instead, he sent diamond-studded prenatal vitamins. Replaced Riku's leaking ceiling with a private rooftop garden. Turned his dingy apartment into a high-tech fortress with fingerprint scanners and a biometric fridge that locks his spicy food. Assigned 100 bodyguards, all trained in both combat and mood swing management. Sent a custom-built motorcycle stroller. Matte black, fireproof, airbags, matching helmet. Riku threw it into a ditch. Jackson retrieved it, polished it, sent it back with a sorry note and 800 roses. The underworld reacts. The Mafia world panicked. The deadliest Omega delinquent was pregnant. And the father? Jackson, the Ghost King, Mikhailov, who once erased a country from maps just because they called Riku a street rat. Now, he was attending Mafia meetings while cradling ultrasound photos. Anyone insults Riku, they die. Questions? No one dared ask. Marriage. Somehow, Jackson proposed in the most Jackson way possible. In the middle of a gang war ceasefire, wearing a suit with a bloodstain, holding a ring inside a grenade pin. Riku blinked. Is that a weapon or a ring? Jackson. Both. I wanted it to be us. Riku. Fine, but I'm keeping the grenade. But love? Still work in progress. Though married, Riku still growled at Jackson for smiling too fondly, kicked him out of bed for snoring, and threatened divorce every time Jackson tried to spoon him. Yet, he started eating the meals Jackson cooked. Let him touch his bump. Didn't flinch when Jackson whispered, I love you. Half asleep. One night, Jackson came home with a bruised lip. He'd been interrogating a spy who looked at Riku too long on camera. Riku yelled for 10 minutes, then shoved him into bed, tucked him in with death threats, and whispered, Idiot Alpha, stop bleeding. It freaks the baby out. And the baby? Already a menace. Kicked every time Jackson said daddy. Calm when Riku threatened people. Wiggled happily when Jackson sang lullabies off-key. Jackson declared with complete confidence, Our baby is clearly a black Mikhailov. Menace in the front, chaos in the back. Chapter 3. Public enemies, private babies. Breaking news. Infamous Omega delinquent pregnant with Mafia King's heir. Global Mafia. A blurry paparazzi shot of Riku screaming into a megaphone while standing on top of a limo, 8 months pregnant, holding a baseball bat, went viral. Another photo followed. Jackson Mikhailov in a Mafia meeting, wearing a designer suit with a baby monitor clipped to his chest and a soft pink bib in his inner pocket that read, "Daddy's Little Menace." The internet reacts. Is this a power couple or a threat to society? Riku Black is 8 months pregnant and just drop-kicked a sniper. I'm scared and turned on. Jackson smiled once, and the stock market crashed. They are chaos married. I support them. Memes exploded. Riku photoshopped as a literal volcano. Jackson's face pasted over anime house husbands holding milk bottles. A TikTok edit of Riku giving side-eye to 12 bodyguards. The baby and I fear no man. Only low-sodium snacks. 3 a.m., Mount Fuji. Riku, I want yakitori from a specific stall I saw in a dream. In Mount Fuji. Or I'll cry so loud the baby will learn violence before birth. Jackson, without hesitation. Understood. By 3:17 a.m., he was trying to purchase the nearby prefecture. Sir, why are you buying a mountain? My husband is hungry. That's a threat level 9. He built a pop-up yakitori stall at 3:46 a.m. with private chefs airlifted in. Riku took one bite, grunted, and threw the rest at a bird. Too crunchy. Jackson, of course, love. We'll get better birds. Rival Mafia's brilliant idea. Kidnap the pregnant menace. The Northern Syndicate, bitter and stupid, thought, let's kidnap the Omega. Jackson will kneel. They caught Riku mid-nap. Unfortunately for them, Riku woke up mid-van ride. Riku had a bat named Child Support in his handbag. Riku was not in the mood. 8 months pregnant. No chill. Inside the warehouse, masked men gathered. Leader. He's just a... Smash. A goon flew through a wall. Whack. Another got slapped by a diaper bag filled with bricks. Riku, holding his belly with one hand and Child Support in the other, growled, Y'all kidnapped the wrong pregnant bitch today. He waddled through them like a war god in sweatpants. One tried to beg. He got hit with a flying can of pickled fish. Riku muttered, I missed a nap for this. Meanwhile, Jackson. He burst through the warehouse doors, 300 bodyguards behind him armed and terrifying. And then, he saw Riku sweaty and glowing, standing victorious on top of a knocked-out alpha, bat resting on his shoulder. Jackson. Hard eyes intensify. Riku. You're late. Jackson. You're majestic. Riku. I'm sweating in places that shouldn't sweat. Fix that. Jackson ordered the air to be cooled by drone fans. Back home. Jackson wrapped Riku in soft towels, carried him bridal style, and whispered, Next time, just call me. Riku grumbled. They looked at me weird. The baby didn't like it. Jackson nodded solemnly. We'll have them erased. Riku. I want watermelon sushi. Jackson. Chefs on it. The Mafia world was never the same. From then on, Jackson had a full nursery set up at every Mafia meeting. Rival bosses carried peace offerings for Riku. Snacks, fluffy socks, rare pickles. One dared to ask, Why do you let him yell at you like that? Jackson smiled softly, eyes full of worship. Because he's mine. Chapter 4. Nesting, Threats, and a Love Confession. Nesting. But make it menace. It started innocently. Jackson noticed the sudden disappearance of every expensive Mafia trench coat from his closet. Next, the custom golden guns he never even used? Gone. Riku denied everything. But then Jackson walked into their shared bedroom and nearly tripped over a giant pillow fort constructed entirely of bulletproof Mafia coats, diamond-studded pistols, a bazooka with glitter stickers, 5 body pillows shaped like Jackson in a suit, and a sign that read, Don't touch or die. Inside, Riku was curled up with a hot water bottle, chewing on gummy bears and watching Mafia documentaries like they were rom-coms. I'm not nesting. I'm building a fortress, Riku snapped. Jackson. Of course, darling. It's very you. Pregnant threats love language. You're late, Riku barked when Jackson arrived 4 minutes late to a checkup. Jackson had been detaining a traitor who leaked Riku's craving list to the press. Still, he accepted the angry kicking. And the flying juice box. I don't care about you, Riku grumbled while holding Jackson's hand in the clinic. Jackson smiled softly. I know. A flashback to chaos. High school. Riku, back then, the baddest Omega in school. Jackson, the silent, obsessive heir to the Eastern Mafia throne. One day, teenage Jackson nervously left a love letter on Riku's bike. Riku read it, stabbed his tire, and walked away with a bored yawn. Jackson watched, clutching the torn note like a love-struck idiot. That was the day he knew. I'll marry that menace one day. Present day, the confession. It was 2 a.m. Riku couldn't sleep. He was pacing the hallway, bat in hand, threatening shadows and yelling at the fridge light. Jackson found him and gently took the bat. Can't sleep? Riku shrugged. The baby's doing karate. Jackson walked him to the couch, made tea, and finally spoke his heart. I've loved you since high school. Riku blinked. When I kicked you in the face? No, Jackson smiled. When you stabbed my tire. That was the moment I knew. You were strong, unbothered, and terrifying. You were everything I wanted. Riku, visibly glitching. You're insane. Jackson leaned in, whispering against his lips. For you? Always. The bite and the kiss. Riku tried to punch him. Jackson caught his wrist. Riku bit his shoulder. Jackson moaned. Riku screamed. Why do you enjoy this? Jackson. Because it's you. And then Riku pulled him in. They kissed. Hard and messy. Full of all the emotions neither of them ever dared say aloud. Jackson's hand cradled Riku's belly between them, like it was made of gold. Baby name? Decided during an argument, later that night. Riku, sitting in the middle of his glitter gun pillow fort, grunted. The baby better not have your dramatic last name. Jackson, brushing his hair. Black Mikhailov is strong. Riku, too long. What if they want to be a street racer? Jackson, then they'll be the fastest Black Mikhailov in the world. They argued for 2 hours before Riku blurted, if it's a boy, name him Blaze, because that's what I'll set the house on fire with if you buy another stuffed penguin. Jackson, deal. And if it's a girl? Riku, boom. Jackson, boom Black Mikhailov? Riku, you said I get naming rights. Jackson, perfect. Silent love, loud protection. Riku never said I love you, not with words. But he let Jackson cuddle him at night. He stole Jackson's cologne and sprayed it in the pillow fort. He cried silently during one ultrasound and wiped his tears on Jackson's sleeve. He growled at anyone who called Jackson soft. Jackson didn't need the words. He had the bite mark on his shoulder, the glitter in his shoes, and the baby kicking happily whenever Riku grumbled, stupid alpha, with the tiniest smile. Chapter 5. Birth, War, and Happily Ever After. Labor and Arson. It was a peaceful evening, which, in Riku's world, meant he was 8 days overdue, furious, uncomfortable, and lobbing Molotov cocktails at a rival gang hideout with the kind of elegance only a pregnant delinquent Mafia Omega could muster. He hurled one with perfect aim, adjusted his sunglasses and screamed, "This is for interrupting my craving nap." Boom! The sky lit up. Riku grinned, until he doubled over, clutching his stomach. The hell! Water broke, right there in the middle of a burning street. Oh hell no! The emergency. Jackson got the call mid-Mafia summit. Riku's right-hand man. Sir, the Molotov hit. Also, the baby's coming. Jackson stood, calmly set down his glass, then lost his entire mind. Bring the jet. Prep the army. Get the OBGYN, the surgeon, the shrink, everyone. Get the pediatric exorcist. I don't know what our child might be. He showed up to the hospital in a three-piece bulletproof suit, racing through security, followed by 140 bodyguards, a private chef, a gold crib, and 3 backup rings. Jackson, unhinged. Riku was in labor, screaming insults at the wall, throwing Jackson's photos at the nurse. When Jackson burst in, crying and kissing his hand, Riku screamed, "Don't cry, you giant useless gold brick." Jackson clutched the doctor by the collar. "Fix him, or I'll buy this hospital and rename it the Riku Birthing Shrine." Doctor, "Sir, please, get the good pillows and the extra ice cubes." Nurses crying, Riku swearing, Jackson on his knees. And then a loud, echoing cry. "She's here, chaos reincarnated." The baby girl arrived, wrapped in a soft pink blanket embroidered with mini grenades and hearts. Riku held her, sweaty and wild-haired, whispering, "She looks pissed. I love her." The nurse leaned close and got bitten by the newborn. Riku, "That's my girl." Jackson, openly sobbing. Proposal, round 2. Now with a bigger ring. An hour later, Jackson paced the hallway, still shaking. He turned, dropped to one knee beside Riku's hospital bed, and pulled out a diamond ring so big it could blind an aircraft. "Riku Black, you are the reason my world burns. Marry me, again, please." Riku, holding their baby, stared at him flatly. "We're already married, you idiot." "Yes, but..." Thwack. Punch to the shoulder. Smack. Kiss to the lips. "Fine, I'll wear it if it shuts you up." The aftermath. Life wasn't normal. Not even close. Their daughter, nicknamed Boom, grew up gnawing on bulletproof pacifiers, calling Jackson giant alpha nerd, and riding mini motorcycles at 2. Riku, nested with glitter bombs and baby food jars arranged like grenades. Jackson bought a private island where Riku could nap in peace, and a country just to name it Rikuvania. Rival mafias didn't even bother anymore. "We do not cross the Black Mikhailovs," they whispered in fear. Because when Riku smiled, someone cried. When Boom bit, someone bled. And when Jackson laughed, the global economy shook. Happily ever chaotic, they fought, a lot. They kissed after. They raised a baby who ruled their household with a bib and bat. Riku still never said, "I love you." But he held Jackson's hand under the table, wore his old coats when he thought no one was looking, and told Boom with a smirk, "Your dad's still an idiot, but he's my idiot."